Welcome to Level 3. In this level, I will show you how to control the feedback engine with a MIDI controller. This makes working with the engine an intuitive experience. Please don't be surprised why the interface looks different than in Level 1 and 2. In the meantime, I have further developed and revised the feedback engine. That's why this window looks different. Okay. You have downloaded the feedback engine, and in the folder you will find another tool called MIDI tool. To be able to control the feedback engine with the MIDI tool, you have to drag this tool in here as shown in Level 1. Then you say, okay, there is an X here, because we have not yet linked a MIDI controller, let alone set one up. To do this, get to dialog at the top here, with the MIDI device mapper, and create a new video mapping and select your MIDI controller. If you are using another MIDI controller or have already set up another one for yourself, you can of course also set up an additional device. You just have to select the device accordingly in the overview of the MIDI tool. I have selected device 2 here. So now you can see an X. For those of you who are proud owners of Innovation Launch Control XL, you can load a ready-made set here via load and save. See here. Okay, the channels are copied. You also have another overview where you can see, okay, which button is linked for which control, for which function. But now there is still an X here. This is because you have not yet entered a signal into the MIDI tool. All you have to do is briefly change each controller once so that the link is created in the MIDI tool. In other words, I have already assigned 2 here. I start here with controller 14, the other controllers, and so on and so forth. You also have the option of seeing what you have changed in the MIDI tool. As soon as you have changed all the controllers once, you can see the overview here. And you can also check the whole thing again by moving the controllers here. And there you can see that everything is clear. Here on the right you can also see that 14 is brightness and 30 is contrast. But you can also say, okay, I want to swap brightness and the gamma, for example. Well, I don't like it. I would have liked to swap brightness and gamma. There you are welcome to do that. I do it here. With this value simply swapped using copy-paste. And then you can see, okay, now gamma is at 30 and contrast at 50. Important, if you change something, you can simply save a new save for yourself at any time, which you can give a name here. I'll call it a device now and press save. But I load the other preset again. Then you can already see here, okay, now contrast and gamma are reversed again. But I can also load a preset here by pressing plus. You have already copied the preset folder into your project from the feedback engine download. You can select any folder here and say, okay, I'm going to take the Innovation Launch Control XL Factory Preset 1, for example. Exactly. Preset 1 means if you have the Innovation, then you can select the templates on the controller above, and then it is correspondingly Factory Preset 1. This is linked here. Important, always press load. Now you can see here, okay, contrast is back at 30 and gamma at 50. So far, so good. Now you don't have an innovation controller at all, but your own controller. You can simply click on Reset Channels here, then everything is deleted again and you can already see it here in the list. Bright is labeled Start. Here you have the explanation of how the whole thing works. You have to press MIDI Learn here, set the switch to on, start moving the controller knob fader with Bright, then it will be linked automatically. Then move to the next controller and so on until you reach the end. It is important to know that you can only ever start from the beginning with MIDI Learn. As soon as you reset here, press MIDI Learn again. You have to start from beginning again. This means you start again at the first controller and so on and so forth. The last 7 channels are switches. If your controller supports this, the button on the controller will light up accordingly. Unfortunately, it is not possible to change the individual links via learning. But as you have already seen, you can of course also change them using copy and paste. It's important to know that I've put a filter in front of it, so that you don't accidentally hit a different knob and then get the whole sequence mixed up. So you have to move this controller probably so that the whole thing is linked. Once you have linked it, you will see that the link works and the X goes away. It's important to remember to close the learning button again or switch it to off. Otherwise, you will have the learning on and be surprised when you save the whole thing here under something else. I call this a device now. I'm going to reload the old version for now. That's it. You have now successfully linked your MIDI device to the MIDI tool and know how to save the whole thing. However, the MIDI tool is not yet connected to the feedback engine. All you have to do is connect the output. As you can see here, the green output to the other green input. And you can already see that the feedback engine is responding. Okay, nice! The feedback engine is responding. It's best to load the preset again. Important to know. As soon as you press this preset button, please be patient with Touch Designer and the feedback engine. It takes a while until all settings are loaded. If you are too quick, you can just change the rotation, as you can see here. Only the rotation changes. If you are too fast, press 1, 2 and change the rotation here, then you will notice that the whole thing ends in a chaos. So please be patient, load the preset and wait a while. You can see changes you make here, be it brightness or contrast or gamma. And you can also save the settings by going to preset here and then simply pressing preset 5 save. Yes, in level 4 I'll explain more details about the individual settings options within the feedback engine and how you can perform with them. See you next time.